Overgiving in love, why you can't stop and how to heal it. You don't overgive because you're generous. You overgive because part of you believes that's the only way you'll be loved. And I know that might not be what you want to hear because you've probably told yourself, I just have a big heart. I care deeply about people. I'm just someone who gives a lot. And none of that is wrong, but it's not the full truth either. Because here's what's really happening. You're not just giving, you're overgiving. And there's a difference. Giving comes from choice. Overgiving comes from fear. Fear of not being enough, not being chosen, not being valued unless you're useful. And this is where May hits differently because you're working with Energy Body 5. Energy Body 1, your identity. And Energy Body 5, your lived reality. So let me ask you something. You say you want balance, mutual aligned relationships. But what are your actions actually creating? Because your life isn't shaped by what you want. It's shaped by what you do. And right now, your actions might look like saying yes when you mean no, doing more than is being asked of you, giving without being asked, overextending your time, your energy, and your emotional capacity. And then wondering why you feel drained, unseen, unappreciated. Because overgiving creates a very specific dynamic. You give more, so they give less. Not because they're bad people, but because you've set the standard. And this is the part that changes everything. You're not being taken advantage of. You're participating in a pattern that makes it possible. So in this video, we're going to break this down properly. Why you overgive in the first place, why it feels almost impossible to stop, and how to actually heal it, not just understand it. Because this isn't about becoming less loving. It's about becoming self-led in how you love. Before we go deeper, if this is already hitting something in you, if you're recognizing yourself in this, I would really love for you to hit subscribe and tap the notification bell. Because this is where you stop abandoning yourself in relationships and start showing up differently. And if you're ready to understand your patterns on a deeper level, download my free numerology guide in the description box below. Because your patterns aren't random, they're coded. And once you see them, you can finally change them. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist. So let's get honest about where this actually comes from. Because overgiving isn't random. It's not just your personality. It's a pattern. And underneath that pattern, there's a belief, usually unconscious, usually unquestioned. I have to give more to be loved. Or if I'm helpful, I'll be valued. Or even, if I stop giving, they'll stop choosing me. And here's what makes this tricky. That belief doesn't come out of nowhere. At some point in your life, you experienced love as something that had to be earned, maintained, protected even. Maybe it looked like being praised for being helpful, being relied on as the strong one, learning not to need too much, being more valued when you gave than when you received. So your system accepted. It said, this is how we stay connected. This is how we stay loved. And over time, that stopped being something you did and became who you are. I'm the one who gives. I'm the one who shows up. I'm the one who people can rely on. And again, there is nothing wrong with that until it comes at your expense. And this is where we bring it back to your identity versus your actions. Because Energy Body 1 is asking, who are you becoming? But Energy Body 5 is showing, this is how you're behaving. And right now, there might be a gap. You say you want mutual, balanced love, but your behavior is still trying to earn it. And this is the truth most people avoid. Overgiving is not just kindness. It's a strategy, a way to control the outcome, a way to secure connection, a way to avoid rejection. If I give enough, I won't be left. That's the pattern. So let me ask you this. If you stopped overgiving tomorrow, if you just showed up as you are, without doing extra, without proving your worth, would you feel safe or would you feel uncomfortable? Because your answer to that tells you everything. So next we're going to go into why this is so hard to break, even when you can see it clearly. So that now that you can see it clearly, you can see the pattern. You can feel where it's coming from. So why can't you just stop? Because this isn't just a mindset pattern. It's a safety pattern. At some point in your life, overgiving didn't just feel good. It felt safe. It reduced tension. It kept connection. It avoided conflict. So your body learned giving more equals staying safe. So now, even when you know you're overgiving, your body still pushes you to do it. Not because you're weak, you're not, but because your system is trying to protect you. And this is why it feels automatic. That moment where you say yes before you've even thought about it. You offer help without actually being asked. You feel responsible for someone else's emotions. That's not conscious, that's conditioned. And then there's a second layer, identity. Because over time, this became part of who you are. I'm a caring person. I'm someone who shows up. I'm the one people can rely on. So when you try to change, it doesn't just feel uncomfortable. It feels like you're losing yourself. And this is where the real tension sits. Energy Body 1 is calling you forward. Step into a new version of yourself. But Energy Body 5 is showing you the truth. You're still acting like the old version. And that gap, that's where the discomfort is, because you don't become a new version of yourself by thinking differently. You become them by acting differently. And right now, your behavior is still aligned with who you used to be. Your identity only changes when your actions do. So let me ask you, who are you if you're not the one who gives everything? Who are you if you don't overextend? Who are you if you stop proving your worth? Because that's the real fear. And this is where your power is. Because if this is learned, it can be unlearned, but not by forcing you to stop, by creating safety in doing something different. So next we move into the shift, how you actually start changing this pattern in real time. So here's where we shift this, because the goal is not to stop giving. It's to stop giving from fear. Giving is not the problem. Your heart is not the problem. The problem is why you're giving, because there is a difference between giving from fullness and giving to secure something. When you give from fear, you're giving to be liked, be chosen, be valued, avoid rejection. But when you're giving from choice, you're giving because you generally want to. No pressure, no expectations, no underlying need to be validated. So if you're giving secretly, hoping for something back, that's not generosity. That's a transaction. And the moment is not met. You feel resentful, unseen, and disappointed. So let's bring this back to identity and action. Energy Body 1 is asking, who are you becoming in love? Someone who is grounded, self-respecting, clear. But Energy Body 5 is asking, are your actions reflecting that? Because right now, you might say you want balanced love, but your behavior is still overextending. And this is where the shift requires honesty. If you keep giving from fear, you will keep creating relationships that rely on that version of you. So the new standard becomes this. I give when I want to, not when I feel I have to. I give without abandoning myself. I give without expecting it to secure love. If your giving is costing you yourself, it's not love. And this is where it becomes real. Because the next time you feel the urge to give, you pause and you ask, am I doing this because I want to? Or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? That question alone changes everything. So now you understand the shift. Not less love, but more truth in how you love. We need to bring this into real life. How to actually change this pattern in the moment it happens. So now that you can see the pattern, now that you understand where it comes from, this is where it actually changes. Not later, not when you feel more confident, in the moment it happens. Because your life doesn't shift when you understand your patterns. It shifts when you interpret them. And overgiving happens in very specific moments. Quick moments, subtle moments, easy to miss moments. There are 3 key points where this pattern either continues or breaks. The first is the impulse, the immediate urge to give, before you've even thought about it, before you've checked in with yourself. That automatic, I'll do it, I've got it, don't worry, I'll handle it. That's the pattern starting. Second is the check-in. This is the moment most people skip. Instead of reacting, pause and ask, do I actually want to do this? Do I have the capacity to do this? Am I doing this from choice or fear? That one pause breaks the automatic cycle. And third, the decision. Now you choose, not from habit, not from fear. from alignment. And this is where it might look like saying no, delaying your response, offering less than you normally would, or choosing not to step in at all. And let me be honest with you. This is going to feel uncomfortable because you're no longer playing the role people expect. You're no longer the one who always says yes, always shows up, always gives more. And that shift, it will be felt. But discomfort doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something different. And different is what creates change. This is the exact moment where identity meets action. Energy Body 1 says, I'm becoming someone who respects myself. Energy Body 5 says, prove it. Through what you do, through what you say yes to, through what you stop tolerating. Because the version of you that has balanced, aligned love is not the version of you that overgives. And you don't become that version by thinking like them. You become them by acting like them. Every time you choose yourself, you rewrite the pattern. So this is your work. Overgiving isn't who you are. It's something you learned. And anything you learned, you can unlearn. Only if you're willing to stop acting from fear and start acting from truth. Because the truth is, you don't need to give more to be loved. You need to stop giving at your own expense. And that shift changes everything. If this has landed for you, if you felt that recognition, that truth, that this is me moment, I really would love for you to hit subscribe and tap the notification bell, because this is where you stop repeating patterns and start creating something different. And if you're ready to understand your patterns on a deeper level, download my free numerology guide, because your patterns aren't random, they're coded. And once you see them, you stop guessing and start moving with clarity. The link is in the description box below. This is your moment, not to give more, but to give differently. So I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.